Hello again. On behalf of Firefly Ministry, I want to welcome you to this week's preview of our message. We hope that you're having a good, a blessed, and a safe week. Now, I realize it's been a few weeks since our last preview of the upcoming Sabbath message. But now that Pastor Shelton has returned from his surgery, hopefully we can be more regular with our preview. I think things will be a little more predictable now. Everyone has fears. Not just humans, but other creatures too. In the wild, most animals have a natural fear of humans and choose to avoid contact whenever possible. Sometimes we have feelings of fear and anxiety, and we're not really sure why or from where it comes. I'm sure you'll agree with me that most of these fears that we've experienced were totally irrational when we're able to view them in the lens of history. But on the other hand, if we couldn't be afraid, we wouldn't survive for long. The kind of fear I'm talking about there is the fear when we get too close to the edge of a cliff or a rooftop, or the fear that we feel when we encounter a poisonous snake. These fears are triggered in our brain and are based on our life's experiences. Now, believe it or not, there are people who actually enjoy being afraid. They're driven by the adrenaline rush and the arousal that comes when they are in a fight or flight situation. It's no wonder that so many people go to see scary movies or to take those extreme rides at the amusement park. Studies have even shown that there are long-term effects that fear can have on our brains, our cardiovascular system, and even our digestive systems. And staying in a state of fear for long periods of time can lead to premature aging and even sudden death. Some fears are momentary and are good, like jumping out of the way of oncoming traffic. And then others linger, and they take longer to play out, like the fear you might feel when you're awaiting the results of a medical test, or the fear you might experience when you think you're about to lose your job. So, what happens when a Christian experiences fear? Does being a Christian, by that I mean being a follower of Christ, cause you to handle fear differently? Just as fear has long-term effects on our physical systems, that is, our brain, our heart, and our digestive systems, does fear and how we handle it affect our spiritual health? And today's threats of virus, violence, and war, are they making us anxious and fearful about what's happening? Are these events causing us to wonder what's next? And what's God's plan to help us deal with this fear? This week, Pastor Shelton's message is entitled, How to Not Fear Last Day Events. It's not unexpected that we sometimes experience fear and anxiety when we think about Earth's final events. But in those times of fear, in those times when we're anxious, it's important for us to know that God has a plan to help us to understand it, and He has a plan to help us deal with it. Please plan on joining us in our sanctuary this weekend for Pastor Shelton's message entitled, How to Not Fear Last Day Events. But if you can't do that, please plan on visiting with us either on YouTube or Facebook. And until then, have a blessed week.